Hello and welcome, Exiles, to the Day 2 update to the Poison Cobra Lash Assassin. And we have done a few things. Most importantly, we swapped to ES gear, and I gotta be honest, it was a lot cheaper than expected because of the Genesis tree. If you check trade right now, good rare items are selling for pennies. I'll give you an example. I dropped a fractured perfect roll 100% warlock pair of boots, and I thought to myself, I just made money. And then I checked trade, and there was fractured 99% E energy shield warlock 86 boots on trade for 10C. And I thought to myself, wow. And it's not just warlock boots, it's everything. It's gloves, it's body armors, it's helmets. So if you're thinking about upgrading the character, I would strongly recommend swapping to some ES gear. There's tons of really good ES pieces with int even on trade for reasonable prices. Right now, myself, I have some pretty scuffed gear because I swapped to this technically yesterday, and the gear on trade today is much cheaper than what I even paid for the upgrades I got to get these pieces. So shop around, and you're looking for ideally ES gear pieces, and quite frankly, you should go for a 6-link, not a Thunderfist. Once you start getting some more decent int scaling in your gear, you get above 1k int, Thunderfist falls off in value because at that point, the flat damage from Thunderfist, instead of being something where it's like doubling your damage because you have not that much base damage like it was early on for us, now it's only about 50% more damage, in which case us swapping to a 6-link would give us probably about 50% more damage because we could add Unbound Ailments, which is a very good damage link, as well as the elemental damage with attacks or awaken elemental damage with attacks. Both of those have awakened versions, and that's what I want to move to, but I kind of gambled a lot of my currency today instead of upgrading to a 6-link. So that was kind of a misplay on my end. So that'll be in tomorrow's update most likely. So that's one thing we did. Another thing we did is I made a cluster. The current investment in my character is probably like, I want to say 3 to 4D on all of our rare pieces. And then I spent like 10D making a settle cluster. And you know the fun part about this cluster is I did all this. I gained about 1000 ES and my damage didn't increase. So if you are wanting to be still on the budget side, I will include a tree in the POB for pre-cluster before I made that investment, which is more than 2/3 of my character's investment at this point is this one cluster, is I had a pathing where I went up this way and I was grabbing like this crit wheel in here, and then I will have that tree in the POB as an alternate option you can do for the drop down if you don't want to do split personality cluster, because quite frankly it's a lot of investment on the character and didn't really improve it. I think late game, as you get more in scaling, it starts being more and more worth it having this sort of pathing, but at this budget level I'm at, it wasn't really that noticeable of an improvement. What was a big improvement that I made was getting a Light of Meaning Jewel. You can either do lightning damage or chaos damage. Both will be a pretty heavy DPS upgrade. We have within this wheel here close to 25 to like 30 passives or something, which makes this give us a crap ton of damage. It was like 30-40% more damage when I put this in. So very big upgrade to go for. Lightning damage or chaos damage, both will work. Just look for which one's the cheaper of the two, because you get a lot of passes in the radius. We also need 1 poison tattoo. I was only at 95 poison chance. You need this to cap your poison. So yeah, that is the tree, most of it, except for one little piece down here, which is using the Foulborn Blue Dream. We want to come down here because the recover mastery feels really, really good in terms of getting swarmed by monsters. It gives you a bunch of recovery. One of my favorite things to use when I play ES characters. And within the radius, this has all res, this has all res. There's a power charge we want, and some int nodes we can tattoo for lighting res, which ends up giving us 6% ES, 6% ES, 6% ES, 6% ES, 8% extra ES, and 12% ES. It's like 44% ES to have this blue dream here. So I like that quite a bit. I was using reservation wheels here. I swapped them out for reservation here. If this is too tight on the reservation, because it was barely enough for me with my amount of mana I had, you can grab these reservation nodes instead of this as a change. So anyways, that's the tree. Rough gear was all about getting ES gear. As for rings, I bought some cheap fractured wed jewels, and I just used a couple spite essences and then crafted suffixes. That's the way I went about it. You can take that how you will. All in all, the character's feeling pretty good right now for the content level of doing Guardian boss rushes, which I'm going to showcase gameplay of. And yeah, that will probably conclude our day 2 update. Fun fact is, earlier I went ahead and earlier I went ahead and did oh cool, we'll do a high fortress. This will be a good showcase. I helped clean up Miracle's void map that he voided in, which was a very sketch thing to do, but it was a relatively easy map as far as void maps go. So we were able to finish it up and get him some rebuild currency for his character, as well as take a bit of the cut. And the bit of the cut we took went into Gambling King of the Mist fights, which did not pan out. Tinfoil hat theory, maybe they nerfed the drop rate of light of meaning jewels, or, you know, I'm just unlucky. Could be either way. Anywho, as for doing a breach mechanic, we can pretty much just chuck our Cobra Lashes in the general direction the enemies are coming in. We don't have to. At this point, our character doesn't feel like it needs to do or try very hard to keep Aelith alive. We can pretty much just look at the red dots on the mini map, so to speak, and then shoot our projectiles in that direction. And for the most part, it picks them off before they get here. Sometimes they get to us and then we have to contend with that, but having some decent evasion and a bit of a good ES buffer for the most part hasn't been an issue for clearing breaches thus far. And earlier somebody made fun of me for not going around clicking on all the chests in the fortress, and I forgot to do it again, but here we're just giving the showcase, I guess, of what it looks like clearing a breach with the character in a T16. So take that how you will. My goals for the character is doing Ubers, so probably looking at another day or two of updates where we're going to try to ramp this thing up to Ubers, swapping to a 6-link, getting rare gloves, probably getting rare boots, getting a rare shield, getting away from some of the like cheap placeholder uniques that are just getting us some initial base damage via int is the rough plan we're going to go for. And then hopefully we can take this to Ubers. That's just the shorter rundown. So hopefully that's what you can expect, is another update or two from me with a final video at the end going over our setup. Oh, I'm supposed to leave. I'm not paying attention. Oh no. No. I don't want to go out like this. I wasn't paying attention. I wonder how long you could potentially tank the imploding fortress. Like, eventually, does it just guarantee one-shot you, or does it just keep ramping up? That might be a fun tank test to see if we can make a character and how long we can get it to tank inside of an arena like that. That'd be kind of I think, something fun to do potentially. But yeah. Oh, another thing I want to mention about this character, and this is a very important thing, is the graphs. Return to Dust does a ton of just base damage by itself. It's actually some nice supplemental damage, and it stuns enemies. So I'd recommend getting one of these Return to Dust level 30s with increased graph damage. And then for our second one, we have Overcharging Sinews, a level 30. This plus Jolt grants crit multi. Jolt gives you more maximum attack damage. With lightning damage, this is basically just 20% more damage, along with 40 crit multi and % lightning damage. This was a really nice DPS upgrade to get. And another thing I haven't mentioned yet is Spectres. You may notice we have a couple Spectres following us around. With the new update, they made Spectres revive if they die, and you don't lose them even with the perfect corpses. The thing about this is they're actually really good at surviving for the most part, and they're consistently nice buffs. For example, you'll notice I've had Onslaught on the majority of this entire map, and that's from the perfect Forest Warrior. He gives permanent Onslaught to anyone nearby, as well as Culling Strike. So he's a very nice like multiplier to your character. And then you'll notice we have Wrath regularly throughout this map, and that is from a Spirit of Fortune. The third corpse I'd like to include if we eventually get level 25 Spectre. I probably won't invest in this character enough to get level 25 Spectre, but if I did, would probably be a Warlord Spectre, which gives Vitality and Endurance Charge uptime. If I was going to invest more into the character, that is what I would consider going for. So yeah, anyways, this is what it looks like doing a Guardian rotation fight thing. So yeah. Hopefully you guys don't like that showcase of the Cobra Lash Assassin and where we are on day 2. Having a good old time. Tomorrow, it'll be about getting this thing 6-linked, getting a rare pair of gloves, probably getting a rare pair of boots, and I would like to move to a rare amulet. All things that will give us a lot more scaling potential. The downside of doing things like this is it will result in For example, with the amulet per se, we will lose this crit chance. So I have to get that crit chance elsewhere, but it's a really big slot, especially when all of your base damage is from int. Why did we end up going Howa? Everybody's going to meme on me because, oh, yo, you always go in. But the thing is, when it comes to getting flat elemental damage, a rare claw tops out at not that much. It tops out at like 7, 8, 900 LE DPS. And right now with this character with 1600 int, which is relatively low in terms of how much int you can realistically get, this is already closing in at a, you know, 1600 LE DPS claw, and it's only going to go up as you get more int, and int isn't too bad to invest into considering it gives you blue HP. What is HP? It's your raw freaking defense, right? So that's why we're doing it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this update to the Cobra Lash Assassin. Hopefully you're having a fun league start, and take care, Exiles. Peace out.